Some absolutely freaking awesome electric cars have been revealed recently in China. And these cars are just getting me excited. We know that BYD just revealed their new 950 volt platform. The new Han and the new Tang are going to get that platform. It has up to 600 kilowatt fast charging, or it might be 560. Anyway, it's around about that. It's insane charging speeds, right? And they also have two new blade batteries. But BYD are not the only company that are innovating right now. Xpeng have just revealed their G7, spotted testing. They say it's going to be the most capable SUV in its class. So many EVs coming out, it's unbelievable. Then, of course, the Tesla Model Y Juniper is on trucks in China being delivered to customers right now. And we've also got the new Zeekr 7 GT. It's launching in Europe in the second quarter of 2025. And it can also charge at apparently 600 kilowatt charging speeds, which you might think to yourself, well, who cares? I can't charge that fast. But wait on a minute. Zeekr plan on basically building out the 600 kilowatt fast chargers they already have in China. They want to build them out worldwide. And they're going to start in Europe. So actually, you will be able to charge that fast. Maybe you can't today, but you will eventually. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. If you'd like to join the channel as a member, I would recommend you do so. I'll have some videos on there now regularly, weekly. And those are going to be videos about what's really going on in the automotive industry and where I think the opportunities are for investors. Zeekr's 7 GT. It's in some ways a rival to Xpeng's new G7. Now, the Xpeng G7 is built on the G6 platform, but it's quite a bit longer. In fact, it's actually a similar length to the Zeekr 7X. There's so many EVs, it's getting confusing, isn't it? Anyhow, the new G7 is estimated to cost around $30,000 US, and it will have technology from the P7 Plus. It's going to be using Xpeng's new vision-only camera system. And they say they're removing LiDARs from all their cars because they are basically going down the Tesla route of having a vision-only automated driving system. Apparently, from reports that I've seen in China, it actually works quite well. The G7 will use Xpeng's Hawk AI system, which delivers self-driving ability through a vision-based approach. And the system debuted on the P7 Plus, which is one of the most popular cars in China right now, and will also be applied to the Mona M03. The Mona M03 is coming to Australia, just for those of you who are interested. Xpeng is also busy releasing an updated version of the G6. Basically, it's not really an update, it's just they're removing the LiDAR. And G9 and X9 models will incorporate this new system, deleting the expensive LiDAR units. Now, here in Australia, we don't get LiDAR units because we don't have the same automated driving features as what you get in China because they're not approved by the Australian government. In terms of size, the G7 is the brand's longest SUV, but it's only 1 millimeter longer than the G9. So it's not actually bigger than the G9 because the G9 is actually wider. It's 4,892 millimeters long, making it quite a bit longer, though, than a Tesla Model Y. The wheelbase is 2,890 millimeters. Here's what Car News China said. Together with the smaller G6, it will form a two-pronged attack on the Tesla Model Y. I got to say, I think it looks pretty good. It's going to come with, apparently, two different lithium iron phosphate battery options, one bigger one and one smaller one. Now, I don't know too much more about it yet. Let's move on to the Zeekr 007 GT. The GT looks to me like a very sexy looking car. I've got to say, it quite appeals to me in terms of its design. And, well, like I said earlier, it's going to be available in numerous European countries within the next few months, which is kind of amazing speed. Those countries include the Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden. As you can see, this is a wagon, and I think it's one of the best looking wagons ever made. You have to admit, it looks pretty damn good. In fact, I'm just looking at the pictures right now while I'm making this video, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, this thing looks good. The designer at Zeekr, I've actually met him in person, and mate, you're doing a phenomenal job. I already told you that in person, but I've got to say it again. This thing really does look good. So what this is, it's actually the wagon version of the Zeekr 007. And it gets a lithium iron phosphate battery. It's actually the second generation golden battery. So Geely have already improved their golden brick battery. So the golden brick battery is Geely's premium lithium iron phosphate battery. It's said to have around 240 watt hours per kilogram of energy density. So much higher energy density than, say, for example, the BYD Blade battery, which is at 160 watt hours per kilogram of energy density. Much, much higher. Give you some context on how they're able to get more range out of this car with a smaller battery pack. Now, the 75 kilowatt hour battery pack option of this car, you should get around 600 kilometers of range, or around about just under 400 miles of range from what is not a very big battery for an LFP battery. And that's the key reason. It's the golden brick battery, and it's been improved. It has 5.5C charging capability. That means it should be able to charge at around 600 kilowatt. They actually have a time, right? They say 10 to 80% charge takes 10.5 minutes. Zeekr say it is the world's fastest charging mass-produced battery. And at this point, I guess they'd be right. The Zeekr 007 sedan version, which will have similar specs to this, comes with a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack. That is the golden brick battery, and that will obviously go in the wagon as well. It'll get around 680 kilometers of CLTC range. So probably about maybe closer to 580 to 590 kilometers of range. That's the single motor version. That's pretty good though, I think, for that size battery pack. And the charging speed is something that I think is going to excite a lot of people. The Zeekr 007 GT will be offered also with a much bigger battery, CATL's 100 kilowatt hour chill-in battery. In the single motor version of the sedan, this provides a range of 870 kilometers CLTC. So probably around 750 kilometers WLTP. That's pretty impressive range. So what I would say to some people is if you want to tow, this could be a good option because you're going to get so much range from that 100 kilowatt hour chill-in 2.0 battery pack from CATL that, even if you're towing something that's relatively heavy, you'd still get a fair bit of range. Now, it uses also an 800 volt architecture. Powertrain options will obviously be similar to the 007. That comes with a rear-mounted 310 kilowatt electric motor. It's a lot of power from one motor. Peak torque is 440 newton meters. That means it can do 0 to 100 in 5.1 seconds. Dual motor versions add a 165 kilowatt electric motor to the front axle, providing peak torque of 270 newton meters, meaning 0 to 100 happens in 2.84 seconds in the performance version. 2.84 seconds. It's very fast. The dimensions of this car, it's around about 4.9 meters long. So it's about the length of a Tesla Model S. I wouldn't say it's a massive car, but it's definitely not small. It's, probably around about 10% bigger than a Tesla Model Y. So could be a good family car option. Now, guys, if you're curious to know, is this car coming to Australia? I have no idea. I've just heard from these press releases from Zeekr, from Geely, that yes, it's coming to Europe and it will be there within the next few months. Now, the key issue here, and Geely and Zeekr have told me this in person, is they need to know from customers if they're interested in buying it. So does Xpeng. If you're interested in buying an Xpeng P7 or this Zeekr 007 GT, you need to let them know in the comments because they actually do read the comments. And I'm telling you the truth here. I'm not making this up. They've told me they read them. And they read more of the comments than I do. That's for sure. I don't have the time. If I did, I wouldn't be able to make any videos. So please let them know in the comments if you're interested. And that gives them a good gauge for whether or not they should bring a car to different markets around the world. Mention where you're from, what country, and that you're interested. And that's something they will actually pay attention to. It's impressive that they do this. I think it's actually really cool. Let me know, out of all these cars, which of these interests you the most? Tesla Model Y Juniper, Xpeng G6 or G7, the Zeekr 007 GT. I actually love all of them. It's sort of hard to say which one the most. What's your preference? Let me know. Thanks for watching.